Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you. My righteous right hand. Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is from me, says the Lord. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is from me, says the Lord. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage.
You are tuned in to that praisey station, Praise.fm, where we get our praise on. 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Well, good evening, good afternoon, good night to many across the United States. We are so glad to be here. Thank you for joining. I live with Lady Bishop, and of course, Lady Bishop isn't here, so I am your host today. My name is Ansonia Burke, and I am also known as Evangelist Ansonia Burke, the Mentor Ansonia Burke, the Iconic Leader Ansonia Burke. I am just excited to be here with my lovely sister and friend, Pastor LaVonna Lewis. We're going to be able to get together and talk to you tonight about some Thanksgiving fun. So we're going to actually be giving you, come on in, tell us where you are and where you're from. And just know that we are going to have an open dialogue today, so we would definitely would love to get your questions in our chat, and we'll be able to answer those as we are continuing throughout the show. So come on in, invite your friends. Please like, love, and share over your platforms, Instagram, Facebook, any of those places. Definitely like Praise AZ as well. So we're excited to be here tonight. wherever you all may be. So how are you, Pastor Lavana?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. You look lovely as
Ah,
usual. You're
thank
such a
you.
beautiful sister. I just love you to death. So thank you for joining me today.
Blushing, 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 blushing. I am so grateful for our sisterhood and our friendship, and I'm so grateful for this connection, this divine, godly connection between the two
Yes.
of us. And thank you so much. I am Pastor LaVarna Lewis, and I am from Las Vegas, Nevada, born and raised here
Wow.
in on the other side of the desert. They say, the back side of the desert. And so, yeah, I've been here. I'm a product of the school district, and then turned around and became a teacher in that same said school district before retiring. And so, and my husband and I pastor a church here. He is now my bishop. I got to get used to saying that. He's been
I
my
know. Isn't
overseer.
that exciting?
He's been my overseer for so many years. I am the pastor. He is the bishop of Lion of Judah Full Gospel Baptist Church here in Las Vegas, Nevada as well. And so we're just honored to serve the wonderful people of Las Vegas. And it's just fantastic. North Las Vegas, Summerlin, Henderson, all over, here. And so I'm grateful to be here today, and I'm excited about this discussion.
Yes, and so definitely glad to have you. So all of you know that Lady Bishop had announced a while back about us joining forces with I Live and then the Iconic. So we have today is our first I Live Iconic show that just a taste of it. We definitely are going to be inviting. We've actually invited Pastor LaVarna Lewis to join forces with us. So we're excited today to just be able to come together and chat with you a little bit. We're going to be talking about grace for your family. We're going to talk about tips today in terms of what we can do with our family or not to do with our family during this COVID-19 season. This is definitely a season of difference. It is definitely not our norm. It is definitely a transitional season for many, an uncomfortable season for many, just depending on where you're at in your life. For me, it has just been a season of really doing some intercession, really connecting with family over Zoom. I've grabbed with my family all over the country, and we're doing Zoom calls every other Sunday just to stay connected since we can't see each other. And so we're going to talk about some of those things that we can do to make sure we stay healthy during this season. As we all know, at least the last time I looked, it was over 1 million people that had contacted COVID-19, and it's still increasing as of today. I know that number is so high, but it's even higher. But I saw that number 5 days ago, so I can't even imagine what it is today. And so I think what better topic is it for us to be able to talk about that today? And one of the things that I kind of wanted to share as some background, I don't know if you guys have been looking, but it's the little things that we've really got to take our time and really, really evaluate, what's really going on in our country. Definitely, I don't know if you guys have been looking at the news, but there was a family here in Texas of 15. They had a get together. It was only 15 of them, and guess what? All 15 got COVID. There was one family member that wasn't even there. She actually just dropped her mom off, and guess what? When her mom came home, she gave her COVID. So even with some of the precautions that people are taking, people are still getting COVID. So that should tell you it's in the atmosphere, and we've got to really, really evaluate our situations, our families, our friends, and really try to make sure that we're staying on the healthy side. I wanted to give you some leeway. What do you think about what's going on right now, Pastor LaVarna?
With CDC is now currently reporting that more than 1 million cases were reported in the United States in just the last 7 days. Last 7 days in a week's time. That's amazing. And it is increasingly It's rapidly increasing. And so I totally understand. My family, we lost over a dozen family members to COVID this year between the months of February and May. We also had another six, seven, more than that. It became so many we lost count. Those who got sick, and the Lord, were able to come out of the hospital all right. I have an aunt who's still in rehabilitation, an uncle still in rehabilitation because my aunt was in coma for 8 weeks. And if we trace it back, it looks as though most of those of us who got sick, because I was not diagnosed because it was before the testing came out. I took sick in December and January, and when I went to the doctor, I lost sense of smell, lost sense of taste, and the doctor believes that I had it as well. And so now, even on oxygen, because he believes that I'm having some of the side effects from COVID that's going on with my breathing in my lungs. And we trace it back. We think it was because in January, we had some funerals, February, where a lot of us, our family was together. Church events where we were all together that became super spreader events that we didn't even know that we were being involved a part of. With this Thanksgiving, with this holiday season coming, this is difficult for a lot of us, especially those of us who are very family oriented, those of us who look forward to this time, especially after having been quarantined for so long and been away from people for so long. Many of us had the hope that by this time it would be controlled enough where we can say, it was almost like delayed gratification. Like, well, at least I'll be able to have Thanksgiving and Christmas with my family, so I won't get so upset. And then, that's just not reality. It just isn't. Even with them talking about the vaccines and things coming out, they're not looking to have anything that's going to be substantial for still quite some time. And so the Bible talks about us being wise, and we have to be wise. And we've made this into a faith versus fear thing, and it's just simply not. It's a faith versus wisdom thing. Yeah. It's not even a faith. It's not faith. It's wisdom. And so it's the same principle we would take into when we get into the car. The first thing we do is we click the seatbelt. That's wisdom. We want to make sure we're safe. We make sure the children are locked in their car seats. That's wisdom. That's not because we don't have faith that God won't cover our family in the cars. Yeah, we know God will do that. But wisdom says that you take these precautions. It's the same thing we do when we put a helmet on. It's the same when we ride a motorcycle. So it's the same thing we do when we get insurance, on our cars and things like that. They're just wisdom principles concerning this. And so if we want to be careful, and you say you love people, you love your family, you show love. You don't say love, you show love, right? We agree with that. And so the best way to show love is, I'm not going to put you in a situation that's going to cause you harm, simply put. Now, my background is psychology and mental health, and I deal with a lot of counseling, and I talk to a lot of people. And at this time, we understand the suicide rates are high, and depression and anxiety is on the rise. And so people are not saying, CDC isn't even saying that you just abstain and stay alone and be by yourself. No. We thank God for technology. We just simply do. We thank God for the Lord. This didn't take him by surprise. This did not shock God. And so there's so many avenues and ways that we can still be connected. And Sonia, I have never touched you. I have never hugged your neck. I have never felt your skin or smelled your fragrance, your scent. But you are so much my sister. Listen, why? Because we have connected on so many different mediums. We've talked on the phone. We've Zoom conferenced to death, to life, honey. We have Zoomed, honey. We have been on, conference calls together and shared education and shared all different kind of, intimate details about each other.
Yes.
There's a way to build with your family. There's ways to enjoy with your family. And so what we're going to have to do is stop if I could just be a little, I know this may sound a little aggressive, but if we could stop being lazy and think outside the box and start thinking about ways of how do I stay connected, and how do I not feel distanced even though I'm distanced, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, and I'm just going to jump out there with you. I'm probably going to get backlash from it, but I'm okay with that. But we've got to stop being selfish. I think, trust me, I would love to hug you. I would love to come and see you. I would love to come and be around you. And I say that in love, and I would love that for my family. But right now, it's just not the time. It's time for us to really kind of, not so much ourselves, but really think about everyone else at this point, to include ourselves. And, I know trust me, I'm tired of Zoom too, but I tell you, that's my only connection to be able to see and feel and touch you in this period of time. And I think, one thing, as we were talking even before the show, we were talking about being in this situation is better than being in the hospital on a ventilator.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm telling you, listen, Thanksgiving leftovers don't taste that good on the ventilator. I'm just saying, they, it's kind of hard to do finish your Christmas shopping when you laid up in the bed in coma, in induced coma. So we have to be thoughtful. Or how would it feel? Because I'll never forget. We presume, again, when we mapping it out, because we try to map out how we got sick, who got sick, and when. We map it back to my husband married 2 couples from Wuhan, China in December. Wuhan, China is where it originated from. They flew down to Las Vegas. My husband married them, shook hands, hugged them, very close contact with them. It was within about a week or so that we both started taking sick. Now, we thought it was just a change of weather. We thought it was the flu, until it became so aggravated. We knew, and I remember going through 2 stints of antibiotics, and it did nothing. And I had never been this sick before. It was an unbelievable, I felt like I was drowning in my own mucus. I literally felt like I couldn't breathe sitting down. I couldn't breathe laying down. I couldn't breathe standing up. I would bend over into just weird, awkward positions to try to get some kind of relief. I was so desperate, I was eating Vicks vapor rub, because someone had told me I was using all kind of old-fashioned remedies to try to get some kind of relief and pressure, because I literally could hear the gurgling as I was trying to breathe. And I remember my husband and I laying there holding hands, and it's a morbid joke, but we were being honest. I said, babe, what if somebody really comes in here and finds us dead? Because it was just the 2 of us, and our kids were away at college. So what if they find us laying here holding hands? They'll realize we really was that in love with each other. We weren't just playing. We were just like so sick. And so again, we takes it back to there. I was then in all kind of these different family functions. Do you know the guilt that rode me for so long to think that what if I was the one who started this thing in my family? Because I don't know for sure. You don't want that on you, because you decided, I love my family. I'm not letting nothing stop me from getting together. We're going to be together. Oh, well, God going to cover us. It's a different feeling. Let me tell you, when you start seeing family members dropping, and I was getting phone calls. I remember I got a phone call one day, sis, from one cousin in her early 30s, mother of 4, married, had passed. While I got off the phone, it was about an hour later that I got a call about the other cousin who had died too. So listen, be careful. The Bible tells us that we have these opportunities to do good. And so Galatians 6:10 says, so then as we have opportunity, let's do good to everyone, especially those in the house. Do good. You have an opportunity to do good to your people. Proverbs 27:10, I'm going to just take a little license with this, even says, don't go to your brother's house in the day of calamity. Do you hear me? Don't go to your brother's house and you know that this could possibly hurt and bring harm. There is Zoom. There is FaceTime. I saw a family who was eating a dinner, and her parents were on the computer. They had the laptop sitting there and they were eating dinner together. It's better than you having that guilt of maybe making your parents sick and you can't go see them in the hospital.
That's right. And that's why, you're so right. And that's one of the reasons why Zoom, even now for our family gatherings, getting on the phone, and I didn't even think about that, but we could get on Zoom and eat together, pray together as if you were all here. So we can really, see, yes, it is definitely not the norm. It is definitely not what we're accustomed to. But guess what, people? We're safe. We're with our loved ones. And this is the thing that really kind of gets me right here, is that even if there is a death, we can't even go to them and be with our family because of the situation right now. So we've got to think about that too. Unfortunately, I'm sorry?
Yeah, my godparents passed away a week apart from each other. We had to bury them together, caskets next to each other. I was not able to attend the funeral. My spiritual father, cousins, could not attend any of those funerals.
And that's the thing, when unfortunately we used to know that when people passed, that was our time of gathering, getting together, and then we would say, oh, let's not wait to do this again. But now we don't even have choices. And so we've got to remember the choice of us even flying is being taken away, or, even driving into different cities. It is an airborne virus. Yeah. And so we've got to do the things that we need to do to make sure that our families are taken care of, and especially our older family members. Yes. We do not want them to catch it, because those things lead to other, morbidities that they have, and other diagnoses that can cause it to be, even detrimental, being on ventilators, not making it. Yes. And so we're just here just to let you know that we understand, but there are so many other things that we can do to make sure that Thanksgiving is a time of us of reflection. Yes. And then, as we know that they're getting some vaccine together, we know that it's coming. We just got to be a little bit more patient, continue in prayer, continue to do all those things, call people, touch base, continue to be in prayer, just like LaVon and I do with some other people. We get on the phone, we Zoom, we talk, we chat. We know when we can feel each other because we talk so much. We can feel when things aren't right. We can tell when things are in the atmosphere. It's just we've got to be a little bit more sensitive than we were before, simply because we can't be together.
And can I say this real quick? Exactly. Can I say this? Just a couple of things. If you just have to go out, of course, some things can't. Just make sure you have your mask, and make sure the mask is filtrated. Make sure a simple test you can do is to take the mask and spray water with a water bottle at a good distance. If you see the water come out the other side of the mask is ineffective. Because remember, the virus, and I'm not a doctor, I just play one on TV, it is in the droplets. And so you want to try to keep that away from each other. You keep a mask on, that person keeps a mask on. If someone in your family has to leave and come back, make sure they wash up. My family knows I have a restroom by my door when you come into my home. The first thing they do is they go right to the restroom and they wash up hands up to the elbows and face so that they can hug me and not make me victim to what they have been out there, because they still have to go to work and do things like that. So be very careful in your touch. Keep your distance. We can still talk and you can be over there. I don't have to be all up in your face. We can still have some distance when we talk. Again, use technology. Use it. It's there for a reason. We use it for everything else. Now, now we're just being contrary, because we'll use it any other time until they tell us you got to use it, and now we don't want to use it anymore. So use the technology that's given, and reach out and be with each other, and just use every precaution that we know. House Party is a good app. Use House Party, FaceTime. Full Gospel. Facebook has a messenger that will now let you create groups that have multiple people can get in on. So those are some, things that maybe will help you with this. And remember, trouble don't last always.
That's right.
Okay, we gonna come out of this, and we gonna come out of this right. All right. So mentally, do what you gotta do to stay right, because we need you for this fight. When this is all over and said and done, we need you. So you got to do what you got to do to keep yourself mentally girded up.
Yes, and just one quick thing before we go. wateredbytheword.com is something that you can just get some reflection time. You can download
That
those
is
things, you
fantastic.
listen to them, instrumentals, all those things are available to you. If you go to www.wateredbytheword, I listen to it every night before I go to sleep just to
Helps me
kind of
sleep.
ease my mind. When you get up in the morning, you can listen to those. I promise you, you won't miss it. Go out, there will be Friday, they're going to be out too. So definitely go there, download, share it with your friends. We are so excited to have you. We look forward to talking to you in the future, and God bless.
Stay safe.
Have you ever wanted to host your own inspirational radio show? Have you been called to inspire and spread God's word? Please contact Alicia Rain for more info. You are tuned in to that praising station, Praise.fm, where we get our praise on. 24 hours, 7 days a week.
2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. If my people, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked way, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. If my people, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked way, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. For I know the thoughts I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. And a hope. For I know the thoughts I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. And a hope. Philippians 4 6 through 7. Be anxious for nothing.